but now that it's 3 o'clock, it's time for our LinkedIn resume building workshop, and we have Umair Sufi from Microsoft here today to show you guys how to build a LinkedIn profile, and he's going to walk you through all of the steps. So, welcome, Umair.
Hi, Sarav. Can you guys hear me and see me?
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I have my camera on another machine, so hopefully you guys can see me as well.
Hello.
It's great to be here, and I've been watching. I've actually been on here for the past 30 minutes watching you guys. This is pretty cool. Um, a little bit about me. I'm a development specialist here at Microsoft, and I work with all different teams like engineering, sales, communities, just to just to get our products across to people. So really like the development of the products and then bringing them to people. That's kind of what I do. So I'm actually going to share my. Oh, I guess I can't share my screen. Is there a way to do that that you guys can kind of grant me sharing stuff?
I edited it. See if we can do it now.
Great. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So I'm actually going to share this with you guys. Let's see. Oh. Are you guys able to see anything right now?
No.
Okay, let's give me 1 second. Getting some Zoom problems. Uh-oh. Don't worry about that. So can you guys tell me a little bit about like what this is? Because I'm super interested. Like, what do you guys do here? Like, what are we doing today?
Yeah, for sure. So, essentially, all of these teams, we have around 90 students, and they've been working with us for the past week to build solutions to a bunch of different problems. And there are 4 tracks in this program, and each track focused on a different problem. And those problems ranged from COVID-19 to um, nutrition to Mars exploration. And they basically explored the intersection of 2 seemingly different fields and how they can help. So yeah, that's pretty much what they did. So today was our research symposium where everybody learned presenting their work to each other.
Awesome. Great to hear it. So I'm going to disable my video because I guess Zoom doesn't like that. So you won't see my beautiful face, but that's okay. I prepared everything. I combed my hair, COVID life, right? So again, my name is Umair. Today we're going to talk about utilizing a very important tool for your now, for your future, and that's called LinkedIn. So I'm curious, and I'll be kind of monitoring the chat. So if you guys want to like drop in some chat, I'd appreciate it. So it's kind of just not a one-way conversation. We really like talking to people here at Microsoft, so it would be definitely really cool to get your perspective. But today, I'm going to go ahead and go through something about LinkedIn. How many of you have a LinkedIn profile? If you want to go ahead and drop that in the chat, you can say yes or no. I do realize the age requirement. Age requirement, by the way, is 14. So make sure you show that, or you respect that. But again, I don't have access to the algorithm, so I won't be checking myself. But LinkedIn is a powerful tool, and you might think of it as kind of like a tool just for your parents. It's not. So don't think about it that way. It's a tool for anyone wishing to connect with professionals or be with professionals or be a professional in the future or now. So LinkedIn is used by over 630 million people. Just think about that. Almost 1 billion people use LinkedIn. across the world. So if you're thinking about getting an idea out, if you're thinking about getting, a product out, if you're thinking about just connecting with people that might think the same way you do in terms of, where you want to go or what you want to build, you're going to want to use LinkedIn. 30 million companies use LinkedIn as well, including all of the Fortune 500, especially my company, Microsoft. We do own LinkedIn, by the way, so I'll caveat that. You're like, hey, what's the Microsoft employee talking about LinkedIn? Well, we're the same company, so it's a great, great company. By the way, this is like a super important part that not many people know about. There are 20 million plus jobs on LinkedIn. When you're looking for your first internship, when you're looking for your first job, you might want to take a look at LinkedIn. That's where a lot of people post and get recruited. Here's an interesting one, skills. Like, what are skills? Skills are things that people have attributed to them based on their schooling, projects that they've worked on, like work that they've done. So you can find 35,000 basically, lots of skills on LinkedIn. So these people, like, you can look up skills based on what you need for your project. Say you're developing something. Like I saw literally a lot of ventilators that you guys want to develop, or I saw a really interesting bar that you wanted to build in Yemen. Like, that's actually really cool. And maybe you need help actually getting it started from like an industry professional or another student. Well, you can just type into LinkedIn, like, hey, I need this skill, and then you can find it. And then something really relevant to all you, most of your schools, like all of your colleges, by the way, will be on LinkedIn. So it's definitely somewhere where you can connect with people that are already going to the school you want to go to, or when you're in that school, you'll be part of the community. So like jobs at school or like things that are happening at school, you'll be able to access that. Arish asked, is everything on LinkedIn? Basically, LinkedIn is what we call a social network. That's not like Facebook or Twitter. It is not purely for social engagement. It's basically for almost everything relating to do with like your career or your professional life. Not to say that you can't message people on it to say hi. You can definitely do that. So here's what we're going to go over today. I know a lot of you don't have a LinkedIn profile, and yes, by the way, this is international. I know a lot of you don't have a LinkedIn profile, so I won't tell you, oh yeah, you have to create one, but we'll go through how to do that. We're going to go through like how to use LinkedIn to grow your network, share your voice, and stay informed. I'm also going to show you, what does looking for a job on LinkedIn look like. And then I think really the most one that you guys want to look at is how to create a standout resume. That's going to be like really important to this group. So we'll go over that too. All right. So does LinkedIn have a video platform that LinkedIn users can use? Yes, that's exactly right, Sarash. You can actually do video kind of presentations on LinkedIn. And then we have a platform called Microsoft Teams where you can like communicate and call each other. So that's pretty cool. All right. Again, my name is Umair. I'm a development specialist. I'm based here in Silicon Valley. Oh man, Zoom really like kind of squeezes my picture. So it kind of looks like, anyways, yeah. So that picture is me. My background's an engineer. I graduated from UC Davis 2 years ago. And I work for Microsoft now as a development specialist, specializing in all of our technologies on the development side, and then also speaking to people like you to get the message across and kind of show you how you can use our technology to your benefit. Okay, so we're going to go through some parts here, and I'm actually going to start with something called your profile, your story. So it's going to be a great opportunity to like just learn what a profile is and like what you do on it. So your profile is actually like, it's not your resume. Some people think about, your LinkedIn profile as being a resume. It's not. It's actually a potential like canvas for you to tell the entire world and all of your potential employers what you are all about. So think of it as a resume for everyone. Resumes, by the way, are very specific. You make a resume for the job that you want. You don't make a resume that's general and then just give it to every single job, right? That's not how resumes work. Resumes have to be tailored towards the individual job. Now, what your LinkedIn is actually, it's a resume for everything. It's something that an employer can just go in, type your name, and look at it, and they'll know exactly who you are. You can add a custom header image, a profile photo, a headline, a summary, and then all of your experience. So I'm actually going to show you guys my LinkedIn profile just to give you an example. But again, no pressure. You don't have to sign up for this right now. But I highly recommend it as you grow in your careers and in your school. So you can go actually to linkedin.com and then select join now to create an account. And then for the account, if you're going to create it, again, you do have to be 14 and older. LinkedIn is free. We recommend that you are 14 and older to join the platform. So you just need to enter your location, industry, and your reason for joining LinkedIn. The reason why we want you to enter a general location and industry. So like, if you're a student, you can just say student. Someone asked if we're younger than 14, do we not make an account? That's my official guidance. So official guidance will be no. Again, I don't control everything, so it's up to you. So you want to enter in your location and industry, and then if it asks for things like degree and specialization, you don't need to answer with anything. You're a student, so you don't have that yet, so it's totally fine. Okay, and I'm going to show you guys throughout these next probably 15 minutes how you can rock your profile and get a stellar profile that everyone will look at, once they search you. And again, you guys are students. I totally understand that. So you might not have all of the pieces that you need, but you can get started. The simplest thing that we do on LinkedIn is adding a great profile photo. So adding a profile photo gets you more connections, gets you more profile views, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but it just has to show who you are. So like this woman here, she added her profile photo and it centers on her face. There's no distractions in the background. There's really nothing to distract anyone but from focusing on that person. So if you are going to put a profile picture on here, make sure it's a good photo. It shows who you are and isn't distracting. It doesn't have, your high school bathroom in the background. Please don't ever put those photos on LinkedIn. Trust me, just don't do it. Don't put photos that have multiple people in them. You want to focus on just yourself. Put photos that, if you were to say, hey, I'm going to apply for a school or I'm going to apply for a job, don't put anything that you wouldn't put on those kind of applications. I see some questions like, hey, my LinkedIn asks for my degree and specialization. You can put what your future field you want to be in. You can put like computer science, or you don't actually have to put anything there. So don't worry about that. All right. So this part is going to be a part where I'm going to show you my profile, but the next part you're going to do is you want to write a headline within your LinkedIn profile. By the way, this is very useful for resumes as well. But your headline is an opportunity to show who you are, not just what you do. So you're going to ask yourself, if this is the only thing that someone sees, what does it convey about me? Does it represent me? So a headline, I'll go ahead and show you guys what that is. So if I navigate to LinkedIn here, so I'm on LinkedIn. Here is the glory of LinkedIn. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a feed where I get like people's posts, so you can make posts on LinkedIn. But let's go to my profile. So my profile is going to be right here where it says Umair. I made my cursor pink so you guys can all see it, and it's pretty large. So here's my profile. As you can see, my background photo this is actually when I was in college, I made DNA glow. 10 extra points for people who know what that process is. If you type it in the chat, I'll give you 10 extra points, extra virtual points. And then I have my profile picture, which is the one I showed you. Now, actually, if you think about it, my profile picture is a bit more distracting because it's not just me. It has like this jar in front of it and then a board full of chemistry drawings behind me. But that's who I am. That's like, I'm an engineer at heart. I'm a scientist. I do a lot of experimentation. I just like showing that. So I want to show that. I don't mind. My name is here, and then this is actually my headline, development at Microsoft. So my headline describes who I am and what I do in a very short, words. So I definitely want to put it there, and now everyone kind of knows what I do. Development is such a short word, like it doesn't really give the person exactly what I do, but they do understand that I developed something at Microsoft. And the truth is, like, I don't have one single area that I focus on. So this is kind of a good headline for myself. All right. So yeah, our objective is to write a unique headline. So in this example, these people here have this man here has strategic revenue partnerships, marketing, and development executive. My question to all of you is, what would you say a headline is for you as a student? So what would you guys think a good headline would be for you? If some of you want to type it in the chat, you can go ahead and put it in there. Like, what would be a good one line for you? I can think of one. Yep, there you go. Saurav said, student at Santa Clara High School. Kind of tells people who you are and what you're doing. And I think a lot of people would be impressed that you're a high schooler that already has a LinkedIn profile. It's not new for high schoolers to have LinkedIn profiles, but it definitely is, not as prevalent as like college students or professionals. But again, I recommend it. All right, great headline example. The next part is your summary. So who knows what an elevator pitch is? And I mean, you guys were kind of doing elevator pitches right now. You were describing your projects in like less than 5 minutes, which by the way, I don't know how you could do. Okay, Vivek says it's a short pitch. You can do it in an elevator. Yeah, that's true. Although I've never done it in an elevator. Like, those like TV shows that show like people going in elevators and like doing their pitches. Yeah, I don't think that actually happens in like the world. I've never ever seen an elevator pitch, but I do understand the concept. The concept is it explains your project, your career, so that any listener can understand it in a short period of time. Now, just listen to what I said. Any listener. That doesn't mean a scientist. That doesn't mean an engineer. That doesn't mean a specific type of person. It means if someone would just to come across your profile, they can understand what you do and what your career is. So your summary is shown in the About section of your profile. And I'm going to go ahead and show an example of a summary that you can use. So here's an example. And this might not be relevant to you guys because you guys are students, but just go ahead and take a look here. So as a sales leader with over 25 years of experience, I'm passionate about connecting customers into solutions that help grow and scale their software businesses. My sales organization is focused on delivering excellence, delighting customers, and solving large software challenges at scale. Okay, so I'm going to pause here. this information is like 3 lines, and it already tells me how much experience that person has, what they do, and what he's focused on. So I really like this summary already. It's giving me a lot of information in less than a paragraph. And then it becomes a paragraph after this next 2 sentences, which again complete the thought. So again, your summary is that elevator pitch. People can understand, your career in up to 40 plus words. Now, you're a student, right? You guys are students. You might not have careers under your belt. Instead of focusing on your career accomplishments, focus on your aspirations. What do you want to do for the world? What do you want to do for your career? What kind of things are you aspiring to be? That's what you all should focus on in your LinkedIn profile. So let's go ahead and show you. So for example, here's my summary. So I'm a recent graduate. I studied biology, engineering, and technology in school, and I bring smart solutions to a wide variety of scenarios. Now, I'm not too experienced. Like, I don't have every single job ever under my belt. So I need to show what are my aspirations here? Like, what do I want to do with my career? So, we can do that as my summary. So if someone wants to share a summary they might have in the chat, go ahead and share it if you have one. If not, that's fine. Just create your summary. Okay. So this part, by the way, I'll let you guys do on your own. I won't make you do it during this workshop, but we really want you to draft a headline and a summary. But we're going to move on here. So if you do have one already drafted, feel free to share it. I think you might be able to like raise your hand or something and allow yourself to chat. If not, that's totally fine. All right, unless someone feels really confident and they want to share theirs now. Anyone?
I enabled the chat just in case anybody wants to put something in.
Yeah, or you could come off and mute and actually share it. I mean, let's make it as collaborative as possible if you want. If not, that's cool. We'll move on. All right. So this part is going to be a little hard because I know you guys probably don't have much work experience, but I'm going to kind of power through it because work experience is totally important for people who are looking at your profile, just like you would with your resume, right? However, in lieu of work experience, you can always put volunteerism as well. That's very important to companies or to internships or to schools even. Now, you might think, hey, if I'm applying for college, I don't need a LinkedIn resume. They're not going to look at it anyway. Yes, they are. College recruitment is just like work recruitment in that they try to do as much research on you as possible. So not only do they look at your grades and your schoolwork, but they look also at your profile online to make sure that everything's good there. So a LinkedIn profile again lets you control what you say of yourself on the web. So I'm going to show you how you can use your LinkedIn profile to detail your work experience or volunteer experience, and also add photos, presentations, and videos, which gives a dynamic representation of you. So if I'm here on my profile, and I go down here, here's my work experience. So I've been at Microsoft for about 2 years and 11 months. Through that, I've been a development specialist, a cloud expert, a program manager, and then a community and technical advisor. So I've had all these positions at Microsoft, and I kind of put them here and I write a description about everything that I've done in this position. So instead of, for you guys, instead of putting something like Microsoft, you could put like volunteer or work experience that you might have had, or a project that you might have done. So you can definitely do that here under experience. So you just add, the title you had, the employment type, the company. Again, company can be school. So if I put like, UC Davis, see, UC Davis is right here. That's the school. It doesn't have to be a work experience. So I can put that here and then save it. Now, there's also an opportunity to put your education. Putting your education is super important. So if you're in Santa Clara High School, put it there. Just add it and then put it there. And by the way, you can upload media. So my UC Davis life, they actually did a video about me. It's like, that looks really weird, but it links to that video, and then you're able to play it, and you're able to do that, so that potential employers, potential colleges can look at what you've done in your high school life or your video life. So how many of you agree this is way cooler than a resume, right? Like if you were to apply for a job and you just put in a resume versus someone who put in both a LinkedIn profile and a resume, who do you think might get chosen? Feel free to answer in the chat if you want to tell me. Okay. So what about boot camps or summer camps? Are they qualified as experience? Yeah, you can put that definitely as some experience. Also, by the way, we do have a section for volunteer experience. So for not non-paid experiences, you definitely want to put them here. Again, it's the same thing. Like you can put volunteer experience as well. And yeah, you do update your profile as you move jobs and get new experiences. So for example, I started in college I started as an undergraduate researcher before I went to UC Davis. And then I went to be a columnist, which was actually a very interesting career. Like you were like, journalism, why'd you do that? It was actually journalism on science. So I actually really liked it. And then I was on, at a UC Davis student representative, another undergrad assistant in my OChem lab, and then finally a biological engineer, and now at Microsoft. So I put different careers here and it shows my experience. Notice how you don't see anything from high school. I did work during high school. I had a job and I did other things, but I didn't put it in here because it's just not relevant to what I'm trying to do as a post college professional. So my experience is going to start from college because it's been maybe 2 years. So actually, I'm getting to the point where I can kind of delete some of this stuff because it's been 2 years since I graduated and it might not make sense. Can we see the college video? Just go to my LinkedIn profile. All right. So I actually have another section here called licenses and certifications. So someone mentioned, yes, you can, as high schoolers, by the way, you're in high school. So put your high school experiences. That's relevant. That's who you are right now. I wouldn't put that because I'm not in high school. It's been a long time since I've been in high school. And it's not that I'm not proud of what I did in high school, but think about an employer, if they say, oh, he has all this experience from high school, what has he done since then? You want to make sure you only put stuff that's relevant, and you don't want to make someone dig through everything that you have here. Now, someone mentioned boot camps and coding camps. So usually coding camps might give you a certification or a license after you're done with them. You can add them here. So you can just click on this, add it, tell them the date, the credential ID if you have one. These are, by the way, official certifications. So yeah, you can put that here, and that just lets people know that you have experience in the things you're talking about. So for example, I have, all these LinkedIn certifications on program management, Microsoft Teams, emotional intelligence. I actually took these courses and they granted me certifications from LinkedIn. So I can put it on my LinkedIn profile. You can put some certifications on your resume, but you can't put everything. That's why I really like LinkedIn. And then again, like I mentioned, volunteer experience is super important. So I can go ahead and put volunteer experience here. Looks like someone already sent a connection request. I'll do that later. Awesome. So here's an important area of LinkedIn as well, something called skills and endorsements. So kind of like on a resume, you know how you put that little section for your skills? It's like 1, 2, 3 bullet points. You can do that here on LinkedIn. So here are all my skills, kind of like my top skills and the bottom skills here, or like just other skills that have been associated with me. So I can go ahead and put those skills in by just adding a new skill. When I add a new skill, it tells me, okay, what kind of skill do you want to add? I can add like sales, management, design. It's based off of my profile, but I can just go ahead and add them. So if I'm really skillful at Microsoft Word, I can just put like Word here, and then I can input Microsoft Word, and then I'll just go ahead and add it. Cool. All right, so I see a question. Do you need to make a resume if you have a LinkedIn profile? Yes, you do, because a lot of companies still require a resume to submit to apply for a job. So you definitely want a resume. And we're going to go over that in the last half of this class, like the resume building part. Because, by the way, LinkedIn can help you build a really good resume. All right. Now you'll notice some of these skills have numbers next to them, like 9, 4, 3, 7, 17, 26, 35. That means people on LinkedIn have endorsed me for these skills. So a lot of people have endorsed me highly for research. And so when you endorse someone on research, you're actually endorsing that they know this skill. This is really valuable. If an employer looks at your profile and they're like, oh my God, 35 people have endorsed me for my skill of research, they're going to totally like that. And as you can see, these are all the people that endorsed me for my skills. And, I can go ahead and just click on their profile and see who they are. So that's awesome. You can endorse people for skills. And it's really easy to endorse a person. So like, let me go to one of my colleagues here. Oh wait, that's not my colleague, that's a company. So I'm gonna go to my colleague Javier here. And like, if I go down to his skills, retail sales, he's really good at that. And I know that because he works at the Microsoft store. So I can go ahead and endorse him. And then it tells me, how good is Javier at retail sales? And I'm going to say he's highly skilled at it. And how do I know that he's skilled at that? Well, I've actually worked directly with him on the same team or project. So, or I worked with him indirectly. Like I've done both. So I'm just going to say, yeah, I worked with him directly. And that way people know that, your endorsements are good. They're not just like random people liking. So remember, like on Facebook or on Twitter or on Instagram, it's not like a like for like thing. Definitely don't do like for likes on LinkedIn, because people who are checking your profile, all they can do is check under like your skill, see who's endorsed it, and then they can contact that person and be like, hey, why did you endorse this person for retail sales? So it's definitely not a like for like situation there. All right. So again, we covered, experience, we covered education, licensing and certifications, volunteer experience, and then skills and endorsements. All right. LinkedIn Premium is a premium service. I'll go over that in a bit. Nothing you guys need right now. Okay. Awesome extras for your profile. Recommendations. So recommendations are a great way to help build your credibility and validate your skills. So do you guys know, here I'll ask you guys a question for those of you who are maybe juniors or seniors. Maybe, I don't know if there are any juniors or seniors on this call, but if you're a junior or senior, you're like ready to apply for college, sometimes they ask for recommendations from your teachers. Who knows what that is? Can you guys tell me in the chat? And is it valuable? Like, do you want a recommendation? Yes. Your teacher vouched for you. That's correct, Noel. Hayden says yes. Who else? Irish says yes. Ruhan says yes. essentially writes about their experiences with you as a student and things you've done. Alina says that. Yes. And yeah, it can be valuable in high school too. If like you're trying to get on the student council, is it still called the student council? When I was in high school, I was on this thing called the ASB, Associated Student Body something. Yeah. Okay, cool. It's good to know that still exists. All right. Cool. So yeah, recommendations are super important. And LinkedIn allows you to get recommendations right on your profile. You can get recommendations and you can give them. So I recommend like getting recommendations from like your teachers and say, hey, teacher, are you on LinkedIn? Can you give me a recommendation about like this project that we worked on or something? So recommendations are super important. So for me, for example, I have some recommendations from, so I was a program manager who worked with another program manager who was my manager at Microsoft for the engineering department. And so Wendy, who is my manager, she gave me a recommendation on LinkedIn. So cool. Cam here, who I worked with directly, and who was one of my seniors, he didn't manage me, but he worked with me on a project. So he gave me a recommendation. Kelly used to be my manager a year ago. She made me a recommendation. And then Laura, who was a customer of mine, made me another recommendation. So these recommendations are God honest, truthful recommendations that you've done a good job or you've done something that has affected the other person's life in a good way. And so that's why you can get them to get you a recommendation on LinkedIn. You can actually just ask for it. So you can say, okay, Javier, I'm going to use him as an example. Javier is my teacher, theoretically, and I can just say, okay, how do I know Javier? Managed me directly, taught you. So, for you guys, teachers teach you, right? Or maybe a mentor that you have. Or, see, here's a choice here. Your students together. So you can ask another student to write you a recommendation. For example, during this virtual presentation that you guys were all in, you can ask each member of your team to write each other a recommendation on how you did during the presentation or during the project that you guys are working on. So once you do that, you can select your position, and then it sends them a message to ask a recommendation. I'm not going to send that one. But trust me, recommendations are super important. Another thing you can do, which I think will be helpful for you guys, is to join groups. You can find and join groups to give and get career help and resources by filtering groups using the search bar. Consider joining groups from your industry or alumni of your school or training program. So for example, I can go up here to the search bar on LinkedIn, search for maybe my high school. Oh, look, there's Granada High School. That's the high school I went to here in Livermore, California. And okay, there's not many people in there, but it's a group and I can join it. How about my college? There's University of California, Davis. All right, here's a group. So this is a great group for UC Davis alumni and members. So, I'm able to join it and I can see like life at UC Davis, which is really cool. I can see jobs at UC Davis, which is again really cool. Alumni, notable alumni that are working in, that have graduated from Davis and where they work. Isn't that cool? So like people on LinkedIn here, most UC Davis people live in the United States, and a lot actually live in the San Francisco Bay Area where I'm based. And whoa, a lot of them work at the university themselves. A lot of them work at Genentech, which is a cool biotech company. A lot of them work at Google, a really cool tech company. Apple next, Intel, Facebook, Amazon, Oracle, Salesforce. And then here's me in part of the 288 that work at Microsoft. This isn't, by the way, everyone within within UC Davis. This is just the people on the Facebook group. So there are about 200,000 alumni on the UC Davis group. Cool. Salesforce is another tech company that focuses on products like customer relationship management products. It's based in San Francisco. If you guys live in California and you've gone to San Francisco, you might have seen that like really huge tower in the middle in the financial district. That's the Salesforce Tower. It's pretty cool. And again, this is really important. Adding your volunteer experience gets you up to 6 times more profile views than those people without volunteer experience. So add your volunteer experience. If you volunteered for an organization, people want to know about it. So make sure you add that. And again, you can find that right under the Experience tab. Oh, another cool thing is you can customize your profile URL. So LinkedIn is also a place to bring your personal brand. So like if you're a company owner, or like if you want to start something, or if you just want your personal brand to shine, you want to enter a customized profile URL. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So you notice if I go to my profile, do you see the URL up here? linkedin.com/in/Umair Sufi. It's a customized URL that I made myself. Otherwise, it's just a series of random strings and numbers. And I don't like that. I don't want, if I put it on my resume or if I put it on my email or whatever, I don't want it to be like a random string of numbers. I just want it to be my name. So I can like edit my public profile and URL here. And then I'm able to change it here. So linkedin.com/Umair Sufi. By the way, when you click on that, you also get your visibility privacy settings. If you only want a certain amount of people to see your profile, you can change that here. I generally recommend allowing just everyone to see your profile, but you don't need to do that if you don't want to. All right. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to go over within your profile is adding something called featured. So featured is something like projects or videos that you can add so that people, when they land on your profile, they see it immediately. So again, I'm a researcher by trade, like by nature, and throughout my life, I've done a lot of research. So here is a poster. How many of you guys are familiar with scientific posters? Anyone? Great. Some people are. So this is a scientific poster that I presented at UC Davis, Stanford, Harvard. Like I took it all over with me. And I presented my research that I did on evaluation of hygroscopic salts in drying beads to effectively dry corn during ambient storage. That sounds really, really boring, but it's not, trust me. It was a project that I did in college to design a product that allowed poor farmers in third world countries to dry their produce after they pick it from the fields. So like example is corn. Say you're a farmer in a third world country and you want to dry your corn. Usually how you do it is you lay it on the side of the road and allow the sun to dry it. Because again, you can't afford expensive drying ovens like we have here in the US. So using our method, you can do this safely in a bucket from Home Depot, which costs like $5. It was really cool, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and it actually won some great awards, so I want it to be on my LinkedIn profile. Yes, it does, Noel. Thank you. It was actually really fun, so I'm not going to say it was boring. It was actually a very fun project. So how do you make it featured? So in your profile, you'll have this little featured thing. You'll have a little plus button here where you can add something. You can add a post to feature that you post on LinkedIn. You can add an article that you wrote on LinkedIn, a link, or media. So what I've linked here are different media things. So I just add a media item here. I select the media that I want, and then I add it to my LinkedIn profile and add a description. So here's another paper I did on a concept called green chemistry. And then here's a picture of me being featured on my website. That's right. This is my website. So I have my own personal website, and so I want it featured, and I have like a video on my website and all that, and my resume. So I wanted that featured on my LinkedIn profile. So great. All right. So that's the basics on your LinkedIn profile. So again, a LinkedIn profile is a super important part of your journey to becoming a professional, to going to college, to getting a job. LinkedIn, again, you'll see it, and I wish I could show you proof, but every time I apply for a job, like when I applied for the Microsoft job, I saw someone looking at my profile. And there's more classes that'll teach you how to get all that, but for this class, I'm just going over the profile here. Okay, so I mentioned in the beginning, you need a resume and you need a LinkedIn profile. How do you do both? So I'm actually going to show you a really cool tool here. And how many of you are familiar with Microsoft Word? Hayden, Ikaria, Nadine. Okay, great. Thank God, everyone is familiar. I was nervous for a second. I thought you guys might have put Google Docs in the chat, but that's okay. All right, so most of you probably upload your resume and work on it as a Word document, right? Let me show you an example. So I have a Word document here, and this is my resume. Just imagine that my name is Amy for a moment. So here's my resume. It looks pretty cool. It has my experience. It has my name, my LinkedIn profile, all of that. Wait, what is this? What's this up here? Working on a resume? See suggestions from LinkedIn to help you update this resume. Oh my God, what does that mean? Let's take a look. See resume suggestions. Resume assistant. Looking for inspiration to help craft your resume? See examples of how people describe their work experience on LinkedIn. Wow. So here I am using LinkedIn to actually update my resume and make it the best that it can be. Resume Assistant is a feature of Word in Office 365. So if you have Word or you have Office 365, you'll have Resume Assistant. So I'm going to go ahead and press Get Started. And it asks me, what role or industry would you like to see examples for? So if you're thinking about going into a certain role in a certain industry, you should add it here. So can someone tell me in the chat what kind of industry or role they are looking to join? A role maybe would be better. So how about roles that you guys are considering? Put it in the chat. Don't be shy. Okay, biomedical engineer, that's one. Computer science, that's another. Anesthesiologist, that's another. Aeronautical engineer, awesome. These kind of look like, what is it? College degrees or college majors. So definitely you guys are thinking about college, I can tell. OBGYN, great. So let's choose something like computer science. Maybe we'll do computer science engineer, or in the industry, we can put computer science or computer software. So let's do something here. So I'm going to see examples of that. Okay, look at here. I have an associate engineer computer science. It shows me their profile information and the skills that they have. So what I can do is I can say, okay, this person is, in the job that I want. How do I update my resume to kind of look like that or look something similar like that? So I can filter examples from the top skills, like maybe I'm a computer science who wants to be in JavaScript. So here are all the people that are, computer science engineers that have experience within JavaScript. This is how they wrote their online profile. So that's kind of how I should craft my resume. So do you guys kind of get the concept where you're using LinkedIn to craft your own resume? That way, your resume and LinkedIn look very similar, and employers will have an easier time kind of looking at everything and judging, oh yeah, this person has the right skills, or oh yeah, this person knows what's about the job because it looks very much like people who are already in the role. So I'm actually going to copy this person's experience, senior brand manager. Cool. So in a senior brand manager at Oral Care, they say led change management team during Caribbean hubbing process, developed 3-year strategic plan. Okay, what does my resume look like? Responsible for marketing of a product, oversee the wide changing, supervise all activities, manage 3 clients and 4 projects at the same time. It's pretty similar, but I think I might be able to add some more on it based on this person's resume here. And again, LinkedIn sources from top resumes and top profiles. It's not going to give you, really bad information or something like that. And then, of course, I can filter it based off of, the skills that I want to highlight within my job here. It's like maybe customer insight. So then, okay, I can read a profile that's all about customer insight. And then I can make sure my resume looks something or has those kind of skills. Now, let me make it very clear. I'm not just copying things. I'm literally not, you can't do this. I don't have a way to copy everything here, right? I can't right click and copy it, right? And by the way, if you do something like write word for word what's from here onto your resume, people are going to catch that. Because why? They screen resumes and they look online to see if someone else has the same skills. So if you put the same thing, they're going to look at this LinkedIn profile, and you're definitely not going to get that job. So don't do that. And notice how I can't go to these people's profiles. The intention is not to copy. The intention is to gain some insight from the profiles and add it to your resume. All right. You can also do things like see more examples, see examples on LinkedIn, and then get started on LinkedIn as well. We have something called Professional Resume Writers on LinkedIn, which can help you write your resume. Now, I don't recommend it for you guys because it is a paid service, but it's definitely a service that a lot of people use to help write their resumes. All right, so I've got about 5 minutes left, and I want to leave some room for questions. So go ahead and fire away on your questions. Just to review, we went over the basics of a LinkedIn profile, and we went over Resume Assistant within Microsoft Word, a surefire way to help you write your resume. What do you guys want to know?
I actually had a question about things you can find on LinkedIn. So can people find you for internships and things like that as well as jobs?
Yes. So LinkedIn, and thank you again. Your name is Assis?
Yes.
Okay, great. So on LinkedIn, you're able to find jobs through this job center, which is really cool. And I just don't have enough time to show you guys it. But in job centers, you can search for a job. Let's just say I'm searching for a program manager job. It shows me all of these program manager jobs, including internships, on here. And what I can do is I can say, oh, look, there's a program manager job at Google. Okay, it tells me how to apply. It tells me the qualifications. It tells me people who've worked there. And then it can say, how many of your connections on LinkedIn work here? And if I say, I want to chat with the 3 people that work here, I can give them a message and say, hey, I'm interested in this job. Do you have any insight into it? Can you connect me with the hiring manager? can I get like an informational or something? And I'm sorry, I just don't have enough time to go over it. Otherwise, I would tell you guys like in depth how to use the job function. But really, what I want you guys to get away from this is get on LinkedIn and start using it, and start using Word as well to help craft your resume with LinkedIn. Thank you for the question. Awesome. Noelle asked, what is LinkedIn Premium? LinkedIn Premium is a paid service to get more insights into like things on LinkedIn, like jobs, more insight onto jobs. And then you can also do something called LinkedIn Learning, which is a product that allows you to learn about different things. So it's like a self-serve online learning system where you can learn skills like program management. You can learn developing tools like C# and JavaScript and Python. Like you can learn a lot of stuff on LinkedIn Learning, analytics in Python, for example. But again, it's a premium service, so I'm not going to highlight it too much here. All right. Anything else? Any other questions? Feel free to come off of what is it? Mute and video, or no video, because I definitely love to see you all. I'm actually going to stop sharing. Or actually,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ruhan.
Do your colleges, when you apply for colleges, do the colleges look at your previous LinkedIn profiles?
Do the colleges look at what?
Do the colleges look at your LinkedIn profile?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, colleges, just like any workplace, they search online to see what kind of person you are. And so if you have a LinkedIn profile, they'll look at it. If you don't, then they don't have really anything to look at. So, it's not really, they might go to your Twitter or your Instagram or your Facebook, which are places, again, you probably don't want people to go to, because that's where you have your social presence. That's why you have a LinkedIn profile. So then they can look at that and they can be like, oh yeah, they have a professional presence online.
Okay. So it helps making a LinkedIn profile when you're in high school or above 14, right?
Yeah, I don't remember when I made a LinkedIn profile. I think it was like 2009, like right when I graduated high school, or like close to when I graduated high school, or when I was a junior or whatever. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. But yeah, I did have one before college.
Okay, thank you.
And again, I was in the same position you guys were in. Like, I didn't have too much experience. I mainly worked on projects like science projects and cool stuff like this. So I put that there, and that was fine. All right. Any other questions? Okay. So I am happy to connect with all of you on LinkedIn. So I'm going to go ahead and drop my LinkedIn link here so that you guys can connect with me and stay in touch. Always happy to see all of you guys coming up with really cool projects. Trust me, I mean, I did this too, not only in high school, but in college too. So always continue to create really cool projects. And yeah, thank you for your time, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you for Sarav to organizing this. Definitely going to hear more from you guys. Add me on LinkedIn.
Thank you so much, Umair.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.